Another Monday means another mindset message. Let's go. Let's go. It's another Monday. And today in America is Veterans Day. This is the day we remember those who went off to war and came back. So whenever you think about the problems you have in life, whenever you think about complaining, I want you to think about the fact that there is someone out there who came back from war and saw their brothers, sisters, comrades, friends, family. Someone didn't come back. For everyone that comes back, there's someone who didn't come back. And war is a terrible, disgusting thing, and I wish we never had to ever experience it. But until human nature decides it's gonna be more godly and see each other as human, war is always gonna be a thing. We're very blessed to know veterans, because that means they came back. But there's stories you hear from your veteran friends about what they saw. Like, we have one friend who mentioned that they were training someone in Japan, or it wasn't Japan, it was one of the islands. And as they were moving through enemy territory, one lifted a bunk and there was like a pressure bomb on it and blew up. And it blew the guy's face off. And when that happened, our friend said that he just started crying because it was so insane that happened. You don't know what else to do. Now, this isn't to say like you should laugh at that, but how many times are you in such a bad, serious situation you have nothing to do but oh God, you just sit there like that. There are people out there who are experiencing that. If you're watching this and that's you, thank you for your service. If you're watching this and that's not you, remember that your life and your problems really aren't that serious. And that's not to negate the fact that maybe you're struggling. Maybe you're struggling financially. Maybe your relationship's falling apart. Maybe your kids don't want to have anything to do with you. Maybe you made the worst financial decision, worst business decision ever, and everything feels like it's just coming down. But at the end of the day, and this is going to be hard to hear, you probably made the choices that put you in that situation. If your health is failing you, you more than likely didn't make very good decisions about what you eat, how you train, how you work out, how you take care of yourself, and you're paying for it now. If your relationship is falling apart, maybe your partner did something wrong, right? And my wife doesn't like when I say it like this, but whenever we're watching a movie or something, I'm like, well, she's cheating on him, but what did he do? He's cheating on her, but what did she do? And yeah, you shouldn't cheat on your partner. But again, depends on your standards, I guess. But if you're not showing your partner love and affection and attention, what do you think your partner's gonna do? You're gonna get it somewhere else. Not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying that's what's gonna happen. In your business, if you're not paying attention to the right things and you're spending all your money and time and energy and efforts working on the business rather than working with the business, for the business, to build the business, you're not gonna have income coming in, and things are gonna get more expensive. That's just the way economy works. Life gets more expensive as we go along. And you don't know how to manage your money, you put yourself in that situation. You made bad business bets. You made bad stock bets. You made those decisions. But you are in a place where you have the freedom to make those decisions. I don't like using other people's pain and suffering as a justification for what we do, because I don't think that's fair. It's like when people are like, there are kids in Africa starving, so you should enjoy whatever you have on the table. It's true, but it's not a justification, because what goes on with them is not a reflection of you. What goes on with you is not. You eating your food on your plate does not all of a sudden save the starving kids in Africa. And I made a comment where I was like, there might be a lot of things that are gonna change, better or worse, after this election. But at the end of the day, it's not North Korea, where you probably can't even watch this on YouTube. It's not China, where you don't have Facebook. There are a lot of countries out there where you can't do the things you're doing right now. Regardless of what you see on the news and what they tell you to watch and pay attention to on the news, there are things that you are doing right now that would not fly in other countries. There are things you say, think, do that would not work anywhere else but America. America is the only country where you can complain about the country and get away with it. You can, all these celebrities can say all this dumb stuff about the president and get away with it. Every other country, you probably would be in jail back when treason was treason and you were actually like held accountable for what you did. You have that freedom here. And you forget it because you've gotten comfortable and complacent. So on this day, whether or not you feel one way or the other about war, you should never cheer for war. War's a racket. But you should never mock the people who are actively going out to serve this country so you have the freedom to mock war and them. You've gotten so comfortable, you've gotten complacent in your life because you didn't have to suffer for these things. It's like when our parents, as a millennial, and as I'm getting up towards my mid 30s, there are times I catch myself saying, man, you guys have no idea how easy you have it. Like, not saying it's right or wrong. You can literally use ChatGPT to write out your dissertation. You probably can do that. You train it well enough, ChatGPT can research any and everything you need it to. You don't even need to scroll through. You don't need to get a login to get journal and research articles from a library to have it wait a month to have it set. I couldn't use in my master's program, I couldn't use half of what I wanted to for my thing because I was super late with it, decided to procrastinate, and I had to put on a 2-week wait from another library in another state to send an article over to my school because you couldn't photocopy it. You had to send an actual copy. That's how easy you have it nowadays. And the generation before us, our boomer parents, think about all the things that they had to do and they go through. And when they're like, oh, you have no idea how easy it is now. Yeah, it is honestly true. Like if you're on YouTube, you can learn anything you wanted to on YouTube. You want to learn how to you need to change your tire, you can learn on YouTube. You can literally, on the side of the road, when you need to change your tire, pull out a YouTube video, how do I do this? And go. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, well, our parents for sure could not just pull out a YouTube video and be like, how am I gonna learn to do this today? If you're in a job interview waiting to get in, you can pull up the internet and be like, okay, top 10 questions to ask at the end of the job interview and learn that right there. Back then you had to practice that. For better or for worse. Obviously there's trade-offs. Like nowadays it's almost impossible to get a job because there's such a wide variety of people who are willing to take the job versus back then where college was actually useful and it was actually a means and standard. If you had a college degree, that already put you above everyone. Now everyone has a college degree, so now you need to get a master's, 2 masters, and a doctorate. You have to have an MD, a JD, and a PsyD in order to get an entry-level job paying $20 an hour for some shit like state hospital probably. That's an over-exaggeration. You know what I mean? But I'm free to say that. You're free to go pursue that if you want. You want to work for a hospital? Go to med school. I say it facetiously, but I mean it when I say like literally everything that you want in life is available. If you live in America, everything you want in life is available. If you're tired of your job, you like literally, if you break it down to the bare minimum of it, if you're tired of your job and you're like, I want to be a doctor, you can literally sign up for school. I don't know, like statutes of like how long your degree works. Like say you don't have a degree. Sign up for junior college, go to a 4-year university. From the 4-year university, apply to a medical school, go to med school. If you really wanted to, you could do it. You want to be a lawyer? Go finish up the courses you need to take to get into law school, take your bar, etc. Take the LSAT, go to law school, do the bar. You can do all of that. You want to work for a technology company because your job sucks and you want to work from home so you can stay with your kids longer? You can go get Google certifications, you can get AWS certifications, you can go do all these things, find an internship, work the internship. The thing is, you don't want to put aside your ego to get there. If you want to do something different, you're not willing to put aside the things that are keeping you stuck in where you're at. But the beauty of this day, of Veterans Day, is the fact that there are people out there who have challenged others who would prefer to have you not have these freedoms. You have the ability to do something great with your life if you choose to make a different choice. You keep getting the same results over and over and over again because you haven't made a different choice. The problem is that you think making a different choice will go to the bad thing, will be a negative. But you never think about the positive and think about what could happen if that. What could I enjoy if I made one sacrifice today? What could happen if I made one different choice today? What if I sacrificed a little bit of comfort? One episode tonight to go to sleep a little earlier. I woke up a little earlier before the kids get up, before I have to deal with anything, to study a little bit, to learn something new that might improve my life. These 2 degrees here, I'm not gonna lie, a psych degree is very ridiculously useless. Unless you're gonna go into counseling, it is a useless degree. It does not pay enough. I got paid, the reason I dropped out of my master's program is because I got paid more to do the exact same thing I was gonna do without having a degree. I don't like to say it because it wasn't a great industry I was in, or a great employer, but I was so ridiculously good. I'm ridiculously good at mental health care. I'm ridiculously good at hearing and communicating, and I'm very empathetic, which is actually why I had to leave, but that's a story for another day. I'm ridiculously good at mental health care. So I was making more in a position that needed a master's degree without having a master's degree. I was making more than some of the therapists there because I knew what I was doing. With or without a degree, I knew that stuff. Obviously the degree helped. But that second one over there is a certificate for web development because I decided, dude, I can't keep doing a $50,000 to $60,000 job dealing with people's emotions where I have to go out there in person with people who might snap and take it out on me. I'm sorry, like, that's the mental health care. So respect the people who work in mental health care because you never know. You're seeing people at their worst. You might see people at their best, but you usually see people at the worst when you're coming up the ranks. So I decided I wanted to learn software development and web development. Was it as useful? Not really, but it got me to where I'm at today. Slowly led me to this point. Nowadays there's drag and drop builders, like ClickFunnels. If you want a ClickFunnels hookup, message me for that. If you're into online business. And that skill got mostly replaced. You don't really need to learn React. You don't need to know front end, back end developing. You don't need to know what's the difference between let and var and you don't need to know the difference between let and var. You just drag and drop nowadays. But are you gonna risk a potential future for current comfort? Maybe you will. Maybe you would. But at the end of the day, when you look back and you say, I did nothing memorable in my life because I never tried to do anything different. You're gonna come back to this video and remember when I said, there are people out there who came back for more, who saw real action so that you would have the freedom and opportunity to do whatever it is you wanted with your life. And you chose to keep watching Netflix because you had to stay up to date on Love is Blind. We enjoy Love is Blind, but I'm not gonna break my back or break my future over an episode I can go rewatch at any time. At the end of the day, if it's not worth waking up early for, it's not worth staying up late for. So take that to the bank, do with it what you want. And I hope that you, actually I'm gonna leave you with this proverb. Proverbs 11:24. There is one who scatters yet increases all the more, and there is one who withholds what is justly due and it results only in poverty. Think about it with your time. The more you spend your time doing things that you may not feel right now gives you a return. What if you learn a skill that gets you into an opportunity later based on what you learned that day? This one certificate, I learned I do not like front end, back end. I hate back end development personally, but I love databases. Knowing databases and knowing how to work SQL, Excel, Access, etc. got me into the position I am today, where it's opened a lot of opportunities for me to speak, to teach, to learn, to train. And there is one who withholds what is justly due, and yet it results only in poverty. You think you have to hold your time. I need to make sure I use my time to watch Netflix and Love is Blind all day because it's comfortable. But it results in poverty because you are withholding it. And when you keep holding onto time, money, energy, effort, love, whatever it is, you stifle it. You're not letting it to expand. Plants don't grow in compact soil. You have to let it loose. You have to let it break. You have to leave it and let it go. There are things that you're learning that you may not be seeing the results and fruit from it, but you have to let it go and just remember that you're doing something for it. You're putting in the effort, you're doing in the time. And if you're putting in effort, you're putting in time, you're learning every single day, one day it's going to compound into something amazing. And that's all I hope for you on this Monday. In peace, love, and light, from wherever you're watching, good morning, good afternoon, good night. This is Laurence with Candle, signing off.